Let's get into making this crunch stitch cowl. To make it exactly the same size as mine, you'll need 150 grams of yarn. Now I have here yarn from Knit Picks that my affiliate sponsor has kindly given me, and it is all DK, it's just different colours and different textures. I used a 5mm hook for this project, and of course you'll need your darning needle and your trusty scissors too. Now before you start this project, if you would like, you can go back and have a practice of the crunch stitch. I have a tutorial that is under square number 2 of the 2025 sampler blanket. And also I used the Single Crochet Foundation Row for the bottom instead of a chain. If you would like to go and learn how to do that, just go and find tutorial number 47. If you haven't watched the video called The Prelude to the Crunch Stitch Cowl, I'll just quickly tell you a few important pointers. I did 111 foundation stitches across the bottom, which ended up measuring 72 centimetres in width. Then I did 49 rows. Why didn't I just do 50? I don't know. And it ended up being 27 centimetres. So how's that irony? 72 and 27. There must be something in that that makes it feel just right. So we begin with the foundation single crochet, and then we go straight into doing the crunch stitch. I'm doing this project in US terminology, and all you really need to know is the half double crochet and the slip stitch, as well as the foundation single crochet, which you can learn from my other video. Now we're going to start our crunch stitch cowl with the single crochet foundation row, holding your yarn end in your right hand, making a loop around the left, pull up your loop with your hook, and you have a movable slip knot. We are going to do 2 chains, yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop, and now we are going to go down through the center of the first chain. So you want to go under those 2 loops. So you've got 2 loops on the top and 1 loop on the bottom. Now pulling up a loop, evening that out, so stretching that one on the left out just a little bit. Yarn over, pull through the one on the left. Yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. So you have just created a chain on one side and a single crochet on the other. Now we need to pop our hook underneath the chain that we just made. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through the stitch on the left. You'll have 2 stitches left on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the 2 stitches on your hook. Popping your stitch underneath the chain, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through the one on the left, yarn over, pull through the 2 on the right. And you can just begin to see the single crochet and the chain is beginning to develop. All right, hook underneath the chain, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, hook underneath the chain, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm going to keep going with this until I have an uneven number of foundation chain. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go up to 15. This is number 6. When you need to count your foundation stitches, I find it easier to turn it over and count the V's along the top. I need one more stitch, so I need to go under the chain on the left, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2. So that gives me 15 foundation stitches. Now I actually want to change colour here, so I'm going to pop my hook back through those last 2 loops which make up the single crochet. We're going to grab a new colour, pop it on the hook and pull that through the 2 loops of the single crochet. Tighten that chain just a little. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We now start doing the crunch stitch pattern. Let's start off with a half double crochet, so we should end with a half double crochet as well. And in the row after, we'll start with a slip stitch and end with a slip stitch. So that's one way of easily recognizing if you have mixed up your pattern as you've been going along the row. So yarn over, popping it under the single crochet loops, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now we want to pop our hook through that space into the single crochet, pull up a loop and pull through the loop on your hook. Yarn over, hook through, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Hook in, pull up a loop, pull through the loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, so that's half double crochet, slip stitch and half double crochet, and we're at the end. Let's do a chain 1 and turn our work. So this time we're going straight in for a slip stitch. You've got the little V here, which is the top of your half double crochet. You want to go into the back loop of that V, pull up a loop and pull it through the loop on your hook. Yarn over, and now you're going to go under what was the slip stitch below. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Into the back loop for a slip stitch, under the slip stitch for a half double crochet. So slip stitch and half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet, and we're ending off with a slip stitch. Now I want to change my colour, so I'm not going to complete my stitch. I've popped my hook in. I'm going to grab my next colour, place it on my hook and pull it through as you would for a slip stitch, and now through the loop on your hook. Chaining 1 and turning your work. So now it's time to start with a half double crochet again. Yarn over, popping your hook through the loop below, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now a slip stitch into the back loop of the top of that half double crochet. Now a half double crochet under the stitch that was the slip stitch. Now a slip stitch, now a half double crochet. Sometimes, depending on the yarn you're using, it's a bit difficult to see where to place the half double crochet. So slip stitch under the back loop. Now if you pull your work out, you'll see the tiny little slip stitch there. You're going to yarn over, and if you push your hook towards it, it generally opens up, and then you know where you're going. Okay, so slip stitch. Okay, that was slip stitch. Now we want to end with a half double crochet. So yarn over and popping your hook in the loop. Because I want to change colours, I am going to stop that stitch there, place my yarn on my hook, pull it through the work, and then pull it through the stitches on your hook. And there you've got a new colour joined. Chaining 1, turning your work. Now you'll see that I have not snipped off my yarn ends. The reason being is that I leave them there in case I want to use them really soon after this row, and that way I can just carry them up the side. But if I want to make a colour change, I may have to snip it off and start afresh at the other end, which doesn't matter because all in all we're darning in less yarn ends than we thought. All right, we're going to start with a slip stitch, popping your hook through that back loop, pulling up a loop, pull through the loop on your hook, yarn over and a half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet and slip stitch. Okay, and there we have our Crunch Stitch Cowl with a single crochet foundation row to begin. You can keep on doing this for either 49 rows like I did if you would like your work to measure out at 27 centimeters, or you can make it as long as you like. Okay, just keep going with the stitch, carrying the yarns when you can and snipping them when you need to start afresh at the other end of a row. Okay, so you really do get on a nice roll with this, and it doesn't take very long at all. The texture is beautiful, and I love the way it makes the colours kind of blend in together. I haven't chosen specifically how many rows I will do for each colour. I just went with the flow and just picked up what I felt I wanted to use next. And that was actually quite liberating. All right, you keep on doing this till you get to the desired size for your cowl, and then we will join up the sides and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Once you've finished your work to your desired length and width, we have a rectangle. Now there really is no front and back as such, but I'm choosing the front to be, here's the chain, and here is the first row of the crunch stitch. So I'm popping the first row of the crunch up the front as my right side. So I'll turn these over to join them on the back side. What I am going to do is utilize as many of these yarn ends to do the joining as possible. Therefore, it kills two birds with one stone. So grabbing your darning needle, pick up your first yarn end, and then you can sew into the very beginning of your work. Okay, line the coloured rows up and darn them together with your yarn end. Okay, so some of the yarn ends, depending on how many you've got in one position, will have to be darned in, but some of them can be used to sew your project together. Okay. As you're working along, darning your yarn ends in and joining the two ends together, don't forget to check for these floating yarns. You don't want them stuck on the outside of your work. So we need to tuck them in and under the inside of our work. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and will make the Crunch Stitch Cowl for yourself. It's so warm and snug, I can't wait for winter so I can wear it. Okay everybody, take lots of care until I see you next time. Bye for now.